Kids should go to school.
Children completely brainwashed.
More learning in schools and less activism in schools.
On Friday, September 20th, 2019, over 300,000 Australians skipped work and school and abandoned their weekly responsibilities to take part in a global climate strike. A movement pioneered by Greta Thunberg, a 16-year-old student who strikes from school every Friday to protest climate change outside Swedish Parliament House.
I feel it's necessary for me to strike from school. Taking steps like buying keep cups and reducing your waste are great, but it's not individuals who can solve this problem. It's a systematic problem. So we need politicians and the rich and powerful to be making the changes that they can, and they're not listening to us. Our anxieties are not needless. There is tons and tons of evidence that climate change is real and a big problem and a threat to our lives, and it's already threatening people's lives. Young people should take action and strike because our voices are so powerful. One of the reasons that Greta Thunberg is so amazing is because she was a student. Like, striking from school and giving up your education is such a big and serious act. And I feel that myself. Like, when I strike from school and I take a day off school, it does affect my education and it does impact me. But this cause is so necessary, and I think that a lot of adults are realising that our actions are actually serious, especially as young people. Climate change is not a political issue, it's a science issue. Like, this is a real threat. It's not left or right. It's every single person should be worried about climate change. So when they say it's parents or adults pushing a political agenda on young people, it's not. It's just people fighting for the facts.
Generally speaking, young people are going to be alive a lot longer than today's older population, so it makes a lot of sense that they're involved and are very informed about the issues regarding the climate because it affects their future. Previous generations have lived quite lovely, relaxing lives, not having to worry about the climate as much, but now we're in a time where it's such an immediate issue that requires immediate attention. Like, we need to act now. If we have heaps of people leaving school on a Friday and marching, there are going to be less people at school, so that's going to cause a bit of an issue, and the government are not going to like that, so they're going to pay attention.
I hope it's really that the government does listen to young people who are acting about this. I mean, young people are the future. They are such a big part of our system and this country, and they're the ones that are going to have these future jobs. In saying that, I'm not sure whether the government will actually listen and actually do something on the matter. I think they're generally more susceptible to the more economic players, which tends to be older Australians, but we'll see how things go. This is their future that we're fighting for. It's their future that they should be fighting for. Older people, not to say they haven't done a lot of activism in the past, but not really anything to do with climate change in such a momentous way. So I think it's really important for young people to get involved and get on the streets and have their voices really heard. From my perspective, I'm doing this huge course and putting a lot of energy into something, and I don't want that to just go to waste because the climate gets destroyed and then things flow on from that. In the long run, a day of school or a week of school or work or whatever is not that much of a big deal when it comes to, I suppose, the effects of climate. I mean, I think I would rather have people missing a day of school or a week of school because they're fighting for something important, rather than having to miss a week of school because their home's been destroyed by a bushfire or something, which is what we're going to see a lot more of if we don't actually take action now. I like to think that children, particularly older children such as high school students, are smart enough to look at the basics of science. This is what they're in school to learn, so I would hope that they can see that this is a really big societal issue and feel that they can decide for themselves whether they want to protest.